There is a rhythm moving through your life, one that cannot be rushed, forced, or controlled. Welcome to Sacred Fertility Flow. I'm Ashley Holmes, holistic fertility coach and guide, and this is a space where you're invited to return to your body, your intuition, and your divine timing. Together, we explore what it means to become fertile in mind, body, and spirit so that you can move from striving into flow. And today, we are blessed to be joined by Dr. Ashish Paul from the UK, and she helps couples on their journey of parenthood by improving their fertility with ancient Ayurvedic medicine and Western herbal medicine. She utilizes meditation, yoga, and her NLP and hypnosis skills to achieve the desired outcome for a patient. These therapies work with the natural rhythm of the body, treat the root cause of a problem, and have less adverse effects. Her aim is to bring awareness to the holistic benefits of Ayurveda and the Western herbal medicine. She passionately speaks about protecting women's health before and after having children. She educates people about the preventative methods to reduce the risk of diseases and live an optimally healthy life. So, welcome, Ashish. It's an honor to have you here from the UK.
Thank you so much, Ashley. Thank you. And hello to everybody who will listen to this podcast through your medium. And it is wonderful to be here.
We have known each other for a long time, and I have been very blessed to have you in my world. And so you have supported women through infertility for years and walked your own path into motherhood. So, what has this dual perspective revealed to you about conception that textbooks don't reach and don't talk about?
Oh my God, that's a beautiful, wonderful question. Um, it does give me a perspective what it means to wait. Um, you know, Although everybody's waiting is different, right? I am one of those people where I knew I never had a doubt. I just knew when it is going to be my time. I'm going to be blessed, Uh, so I do have that perspective, but it is my own perspective,
Hmm.
Whereas now, when I see women who are in that space with all the doubts and all the fears, and they're just so scared to be in that space. So I think that's the difference that I can see when I was in that space and now when I see other women in that space. And what else? It is. I think it does also give me perspective overall that I am blessed. Like yourself, I have twins as well from IVF. And even though, there was a time in my life, and me and my husband, we both thought we were also looking to adopt as well. And I still would love to foster children also. And there was a time when I thought maybe, I may never have to, never will have kids of my own, biological children. But it was never an issue for me, because I believe if you have love to share, you can share with any child. Of course, sharing with your own blood is one of the, I think, the most natural flow for most people. But I never had that, issue. But now that I do this work, I know that I am blessed, that I have twins. They actually turned 18 on Saturday.
Wow.
I know, 18. And I can still remember when we conceived, we had the first scan. I still remember. It's so vivid. But that gives me, that perspective, just that blessing. And that I also feel privileged and blessed that I am able to support so many people and couples and can give them both insider view and also view as a practitioner.
Yes, I feel like you have so much wisdom and have been able to see both ends of the spectrum and to help people in a holistic, natural way as well. And sometimes people on their own path finally come to be seeking that. So I would love to know what the most common patterns you see in women struggling to conceive that they're going through, whether they're unspoken or they're overlooked compared to Western medicine.
Oh, wow. I think one of the biggest things that we have is that women are very disconnected from their femininity. So that's the biggest thing, right? Because women are in that mode of provider, which is not a bad thing, but they just also need to know when to disconnect from that and to be in a space of nurturer, to be in a space of holding that space and womb for a new baby. But because they are in that alpha mode, and 90% of the women don't know this, that they are in that mode as well, and they're just pushing it and pushing it. And I feel that it simply is that they don't have the space in their life to allow that baby to actually come through them. That is the biggest uh, oversight that we have, that we are not looking into. Energetically, I feel women are not in that space. They think that they want a baby. They think that because it is, this is the dream, they have done all the work, now they have got a really great job and a partner, and it would be the next step. It's a logical next step, right?
Right.
But when you look at their lifestyle, they don't have the time for a baby, or even pregnancy, for example. So I think that definitely is a biggest point missed from overall when we look at when I look at women who are trying to conceive. And as you know, I mainly see women 40 plus. I see a lot of women over 40, where it is even more of an issue because by that time you're set in your ways, you're set in your life, and it becomes in a way even harder. As well as that society keeps saying, or doctors keep saying, hospitals keep saying, gynecologists keep saying, you're too old, eggs are too old. So it's such a uphill battle for them.
Mhm.
But I think divine femininity, if I have to say one thing that we are missing that.
Yes. I see that as well, where, it's a lot of masculine energy and it needs to be embraced, the feminine, and, yes, you may need that masculine energy for work, and that may be what you're taking to your workplace, and you may be so successful and so productive and ticking all of the boxes. And then when you try to bring that energy to your fertility journey, it doesn't work, and it leads to a lot of frustration and disappointment, and a lot of questioning and wondering why. And really, then it's time to sort of look within, I feel, at that point in time. I would love to know from an Ayurvedic lens, why is infertility rarely just about the reproductive organs? And I would love for you to sort of, teach us a little bit about Ayurveda and how, you know, things are connected and how things are layered and how everything is affected, because I don't think that people realize the interconnectedness of what is happening within their own being. And by understanding that, they can see how this approach is very beneficial, not only for fertility, but for working with their inborn constitution.
Oh, 100%. And yes, as you know, in Ayurveda is a massive system. It's a complete, huge, big system of healthcare. It originated in India, and it originated, I think, as we developed as human race. So it just developed with it. That's why it's thousands of years old. And it talks about living with the flow of your own particular body and mind that you are given, right? Which is where the body mind constitution comes into place. That you are a unique representation of stars, the stardust collected together, and then your physical body and your mind and your spirit is very, very unique. Even with identical twins, we know that it is still very unique. So that individuality that you have, that uniqueness that you have, everything that comes out of that. So your body mind constitution, which we know Vata, Pitta, Kapha, there are three types. Then there are double types, and everything you do, it's a representation of that. So if you're a Vata person, your period will be scanty. There will be more pinpointing pain, more prickly kind of pain you will feel, as compared to if you're a Pitta person, your period is more flowing, there is more heat involved, there is more inflammation involved. In like endometriosis is a scenario which is more common with women who have Pitta. predominant. Then there is kapha, which is more stagnation, and we know that kapha is more involved with PCOS, which is again, kapha itself is borderline diabetic scenario, or insulin resistance is more common in people who are kapha type. So it is absolutely essential for us to look into why your representation is like that, why you have a certain condition. And when you then start to unravel, okay, what is your body mind type like, what foods have you been eating, were they compatible? If they were not compatible, then there is an issue. um, and it's like a long time, long work. There is such intensive work that you have to think about, and I don't think even all the people that I see, or the couples and women that I see, I do my best to make them understand, but because there is not enough time to understand, it has taken me lifetime to understand Ayurveda,
Yes.
30 plus 32 years or so. Um, but it is making a difference to how your body and mind shows up, even in terms of how your mind is, how that shows up in your fertility journey, right? So people who are Vata type, for example, they naturally get scared because their nervous system um, cannot balance itself very quickly. So they have to do a lot of things to balance their nervous system. So they get scared pretty quickly because they get unbalanced very quickly. So which means that they have that kind of viewpoint. They have that kind of fearful, negative viewpoint,
Hmm.
even about their fertility journey, as compared to cover person who will be perhaps sometimes too laid back. Oh, it will happen and we will do something and it's okay. So, they have that kind of
Yes.
attitude. And Pitta is in between, and Pitta will be the people you will see, or women who then become really critical. They become very bitter because they haven't had an easy journey trying to conceive. So it is all interconnected. We are part of universe. We are the universe. We are kind of a representation of that universal tree. So we are connected to the stars. Stars are connected to us. We have the whole representation, as Ayurveda says, whatever there is macrocosm outside, the bigger
Yeah.
universe is represented within us in our bodies.
Yes.
So it's a continuous flow. There is no, we can only we feel that, there is this physical body, so I am different, but we are not. If it is cold outside, you will feel cold because you're part of nature. And that
Hmm.
is how the environment that you live in impacts your fertility. Your home environment that you live in impacts your fertility. The environment, your city that you live in, if it is very polluted, it will affect your hormones more, right? So it is all interconnected. I cannot think how some people do not see that. When people talk about fertility being a medical issue, which it is, yes, some of the parts of that fertility journey is medical issue, but your fertility is not in only in your reproductive organs. Your fertility is in your mind, your fertility is in your heart, how everything is connected. Um, so yeah, it's fascinating to say
It
the
is
least.
fascinating. I know it's mind-blowing for my clients when I tell them, okay, because initially we're working with their body constitution, and then we look into the mind constitution, and those aren't necessarily the same. And
Yeah,
so when we're looking into that, it's mind-blowing to them to see, wait a minute, I'm this way in my body, but I'm this way in my mind. So now I need to work with my mind in this way. And that's really
yeah,
empowering, I think, because often we don't know what to do with these thoughts that are running rampant in our minds. And so it's really
100%.
empowering to then have tools to work with your body. That is what Ayurveda is all about, is working with your body, with nature, in harmony, creating that equilibrium and that balance within. And so
Yeah.
it's so beautiful in that I love that it applies to this, but it also applies to your whole life. This knowledge and this wisdom helps you lifelong.
100%. Yeah, yeah. We are talking about fertility in particular here, but it is for every health condition. It is for your health overall,
Hmm.
that you are connected, and everything impacts the way your health shows up for you. You know, every everything that you're doing, every way that you are being has an impact on what shows up in terms of your health.
I would love for you to dive into how chronic stress plays a role on women trying to conceive because I feel like they are all stressed most of the time
Mhm.
to the maximum. And so it's not only physiologically, but there's so many ways that this is impacting them. And they can't seem to get on top of it because the fertility journey is just adding to the stress and impacting them that much more.
100%. I think so many women and people get offended when you talk about, oh, you do need to relax. And they're like, oh, yeah, this is a medical condition and relaxation has got nothing to do with it. It's not correct. But by relaxation, it doesn't mean that you don't do anything. Or by relaxation, it doesn't mean, and also that you cannot just relax by asking yourself to relax. You just can't. If I ask you
No.
to relax, how do you relax? You can't. You have to learn tools that automatically by
Mhm.
default will relax you, like doing breath work, for example, will automatically. It's a side effect. It's the biggest impact of breath work is that it will relax you. Whether you want it or not, you are going to be relaxed after doing breathing exercises. But stress is a bigger factor because women are working.
Mhm.
Not that women didn't used to work before. Women have always worked. Women used to work alongside with men in the fields before. Women were doing other things in the house, household chores. There were no washing machines before, right? So women have always worked and done other things. So it's not that. I think um, it is that male pattern of work which is different to when women were doing work in their own way, right?
Mhm.
Because the structure that is outside in the world, it is created by men. All work structure overall worldwide is created by men, right? Whether it's corporate or otherwise, the whole system is seen and done from a man's perspective. And specifically when I look at corporate women, it is, God, it is such a cutthroat competition of, jumping up the ladder and building up your score so that you can get on to the next role and executive role and all of that. It is burning women out. There is no doubt, which is why burnout is so common now in women, even before they even start. So stress has to be managed. Women need to know that stress has a bigger part. But it's not to say that, oh, I can just relax, I can just watch something on the TV and relax. No, that does not work. You need deeper integrated therapies, you need deeper work on your health so that your cells can actually feel that relaxation. Because you can't
Mhm.
fake relaxation. It's not an intellectual exercise that you can fake your relaxation and think, oh, yeah, okay, I am relaxed, I am relaxed, I am relaxed, right?
Just because you're saying it doesn't mean you're embodying it. And I think
Exactly.
for myself, I didn't actually realize that until I got onto my yoga mat, until I started to practice restorative yoga and yoga nidra meditations and these very calming and soothing practices that absolutely neurologically are relaxing you from head to toe and your whole energy field and you walk off feeling like a completely different person. That is a different experience than just having a bubble bath, which can be
Yeah.
relaxing, but it has a different impact on your mind, body, and spirit. And so it's important to be taking that into consideration as well. A bubble bath is nice, it's great, but what else can you be doing?
Yeah, absolutely. And that is why, like I have patients when they come and have therapies, and some of them cry during therapy sessions or afterwards, and they just feel that kind of um, letting go as well, which they have never felt before, because there is nothing like hands-on therapy. The impact of somebody working on your body and touching you, it's the biggest healer, right? And when I do have that healing intention towards the patient, it works even better, right?
Mhm.
And I think stress is one of the biggest things for men and women equally. Also, because women are delaying it further or couples are delaying it further out. Uh, and I'm not judging anyone here. I think, yes, you need to have the resources to be able to have children. So, but overall, we know that couples are pushing it far out after 30, 35, even nearing 40s. And that adds to the stress factor, you know. So, stress has to be managed. One, that you need to know what your stress triggers are. How does
Mhm.
stress impact you? A lot of people don't even know how stress impacts them. Do you become more
No.
hungry, or do you lose your appetite? How is stress impacting you? And then finding strategies which work in your favor, you know.
I
Um,
think I've seen a lot of my clients, skipping meals and like just meeting to meeting. And I'm like, you need to create space. You need to have boundaries. You need to be able to step away from your computer and come back to it. Whether it's lunch and a walk outside or whatever it is, you can't be on, you know, plus
Constantly.
hours oftentimes a
Yeah.
day. And then, then you're also, if you're working from home some of the time, you're not, clocking off when you meant to be. You're still mentally doing things or answering
Yeah.
emails and all the rest of it when you're technically off. And so it's really the way our society has shifted. And it's
Mm.
saying, wait a minute, if this is your priority right now, then you need to create space in your calendar. And sometimes women are really resistant when I
Yeah.
say, you need to look at where's the space for you? Where is the space for your nervous system, for your nourishment? And all of that is impacting you because you can take all the protocols, you can do all the fertility drugs, but you need to take a whole body approach if you want to
Mm.
achieve the best result.
100%. Yeah, you're right. And they do need that space. And I think, again, with the hustle culture, it has also become this idea that you need to do back to back to back to back things, you know. And if people have healing time in between, when you do nothing, not even watching anything, and you simply lie on grass or lie under the stars and watching the stars, that healing impact is so crucial, which can only come with time. You have to allow that 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour to let go. It's not even not to relax, it's just to let go. When you just let your mind go, just let it kind of, what's the word? Decharge, you know?
Hmm.
And we don't allow healing time. For example, there used to be, like in Ayurveda, it is mentioned that you have healing time. For every disease, you need healing time, right? So if you have fever for 2 days, you need 2 days to afterwards to actually heal from it. Who is doing healing time right now? Nobody. We actually have made it into we have made medications so that we can take the medication and actually go to work, which
Yeah.
can't be, there can't be any more worse idea than that. The fact that the the reason that you actually have some kind of ailment, whether you have cold or anything else or headache, is that means the body is imbalanced. You're doing too much, or you're doing something which you shouldn't be doing right now. Even if you caught cold, it means you went out in the cold somewhere, and right? So you are already doing too much. And that's why you are getting all of that from the universe. But there is no healing time. And that healing time can only be, you have to allow that space. And that is why people are not healing. You can take medication to, yes, you killed all the viruses, fine. But then where is the healing?
Hmm. It's just pushing through, right? It's
Yeah.
not listening to your body and just doing what you can to get through the day or to get through the week or to get through the month. And people don't realize the toll that it's taking on their fertility and their health in the long
Yeah.
term.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because I think in our minds, we're like, hey, I can do this short sprint. I can do this for, but we're not realizing that, wait a minute, that started as a week, has turned into a month, has turned into years. And then we're
Yeah.
wondering why we're feeling fatigued, overwhelmed, and all of these things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're right. You and I, we both know.
I would love for you to say why it's so important to prepare the body for conception and why That may be, in fact, more important than conception itself, because you and me are very aligned on this, and it's
Yeah.
such a key element. It's not just the act, but what goes before.
100%. So Ayurveda says that you need to prep for conception because you need to prep the egg and the sperm to have the best quality nutrition, to have the best quality genetic expression at the time of conception, so that all of that goodness can go into the baby. Because it is not just only about this baby. You're also setting a genetic blueprint for all the generations down the line, right? So it's a huge responsibility, which is why Ayurveda says that it's a huge journey, and we prepare for all other journeys. If you have to go to, I don't know, if you're traveling anywhere, you prepare for all the adversity. You have insurance, you have everything else, but when you are going for conception, you hardly prepare. I think it's the biggest thing that is also missing. No preparation. You just think about, okay, just a little bit. I stopped taking sugar, I stopped taking coffee, and that's about it. Or just trying to sleep on time, which most of the people then again fall back into their habits. But preparation is the key for everything that you want to do, and something as crucial as having a baby. Oh my God. I mean, it is, you're creating a human being, and you need that human being to have a great, healthy life. For that, you're going to need some preparation. And no one is prepping, which is my big thing about prep. And I think this is the reason, not just that natural conception fails, it is also the reason why IVF fails so much, because nobody is preparing body and mind. And Ayurveda talks about doing panchkarma, going on a retreat as a couple. You do rituals together, you bond together, you are inviting that soul into your life so that you are prepping for that. So you prep energetically, you prep psychologically. You also need to know whether you both are on the same page in terms of raising that child. You talk about what kind of sanskar is, what kind of value system you want to give to that child. Who does that kind of discussion? Very few people do that. So preparation is the key to have a great experience, getting pregnant, staying pregnant,
Yes.
having the baby, going through the birthing. The conception doesn't stop at conception, right? Then it is 40 weeks of pregnancy and all of that. So that is why you got to prep. And Ayurveda is one of the best ways to prep.
I have goosebumps from you talking because I just
I got a bit passionate.
you're so passionate, but it's so aligned that, and it's overlooked though. People aren't realizing that, yes, if I'm going to invest in IVF, I should also be investing in
Yeah,
myself, in my health and well-being, so that I am feeling my best when the time comes, so that this can
yeah.
happen.
Yeah, you got to be ready and receptive so that when everything is going to align, because you can't force it, right? You cannot
No.
force things ever. What you can do is you can align yourself. You can align your mind, you can align your health, you can align, both the partners can align themselves so that you are fully in that receptive mode, and then you get the gift, right?
Yes.
It's the same thing happens for everything in life. Like in business, for example, we got to align ourselves. I need to make myself so skilled and at that place where then I can attract that kind of clientele, that kind of customer who can trust me and can be in that place, right? So same thing happens for fertility, where a new soul can trust you
Hmm.
and then can come via you and into your life. And if you're not doing that preparation, then it's definitely, it is harder, and you cannot force universe to give you something, or to you cannot force anybody to give you anything really. But if
No.
you prep yourself, uh, then you are in that space where you are just, and I mean, having children is such a beautiful blessing. It's a blessing. It can only be received with both hands folded, and you just can only pray that you are blessed with a child. And all we should do is to prep ourselves. Like people prep, for 3 months, let's take some folic acid, let's take some multivitamins, and that's about it. And after 3 months, if it doesn't happen, then this panic mode sets in. Whereas we
Yes.
should keep prepping until we have the baby, right? So
Hmm.
that's how it should be.
I couldn't agree more. Can you speak to Ojos, our vital life essence, and how this impacts your fertility and how we want to be building that? We want to have an abundance of that.
Yeah, yeah. So we have, as you know, in Ayurveda, we have dhatus, which is the tissues that we
Hmm.
have. So we have ras, rakt, mas, med, asthi, majja, shukra, and then after shukra comes ojas. So shukra is reproductive tissue, and the essence of the whole reproductive tissues is what your ojas is. And ojas is almost like your essence, your physical essence of your body and mind is what ojas is. It is also equated to immunity, our immune system as well. So in modern sense, but it's not really is equal to immunity. So ojas is really your life force, how you how your health and how your essence shows up. Like some people, when you look at it's just some, and it is so hard to explain, Ojas. It's what shows out, or what manifests through your skin, through your color, through your words that you say, through your eyes, how you express. That life force, that is Ojas. And Ojas is also this ability then to, are you, are you universally aligned with how you need to be? Do you have that life force within you? That's what Ojas is equated to, the essence of you. Yeah. And for fertility, absolutely. If you don't have life force, how are you going to nurture a new life or two in
Yes.
your and my case?
Yes.
If you have two of them.
It takes
Uh,
a lot. And I didn't have twins until I feel like I was on the fence for a long time because I was in denial that anything was quote unquote wrong. And so I was on the fence for a long time. And when I finally was like committed, and yes, I will go to the fertility clinic, and yes, I will do anything to make this happen, and just, took that mindset. And at that time, my mindset was make this happen. That's not really
yes.
allowing for flow in your life. But I was blessed when I became, you know, one pointed on sort of that focus and followed that path, wherever that path led. And it was scary to go down that path, as it is for most women. But when you can look at it like, this is what I want, and I'm going to prioritize this, and everything else is going to move to the side for the time being.
Yeah, it's like what I was saying earlier, when we had twins after 10 years, and I was telling you that I never, not even once, not even in my thoughts, I ever had a doubt that I will not have kids, ever. Uh, you know, but that feeling or that knowing comes from your ojas, it comes from your life force, okay? Um, and most of the people these days have ojas very depleted because they don't eat well, they don't sleep well, they don't have that kind of spiritual foundation. And that's where then all these doubts, and it must be so scary to keep doubting all the time. I cannot imagine anything more nerve-wracking because you're trying to control so much, and fertility is
Yeah.
such a vast thing. And it is dependent on two people's health and well-being. And women are trying to control so many factors and then just going mental with that, so that ojas is that force from within you, which that soul within you, which is saying, okay, yes, it is possible for you. And if you're not listening to that, if you have that disconnect, is when people have either coming from ojas being depleted, as well as that they are not connected within themselves, you know. So it is crucial for fertility because otherwise, how do you keep going? I don't know how women keep going. I mean, I've only had one IVF cycle,
Hmm.
right? So my target was okay, one IVF cycle. If this is my path, if this is my journey, I'm going to go through one IVF cycle. And I always knew I will have boy and a girl. I just knew.
I love that.
You know, we went for the scan and doctor said there are two sacs. That's it. And I knew there's going to be a boy and a girl, right? I don't know. Where does that knowing come from? I had no reason to know that I'm going to have that. But that comes from this inner core strength that you need, you know?
Mhm.
And I don't think I would have been able to go through cycle after cycle like some women, as you know, they have 10 cycles. Somebody was saying 15 IVF cycles. I mean, I would probably lose my head after two or three, seriously. And I do feel for those women, who are going through IVF so much because they are given that. I really would say it's a misinformation, because there is so much natural stuff that they can do before they get to IVF so that IVF can become successful for them. But
Mhm.
they don't know. And they keep forcing it, right? Because
Yes.
IVF is like forcing it. One cycle, second cycle, third cycle, because doctor said after third cycle is more successful. Okay, now let's do PRP. Okay, then next cycle. Now we missed something else. Now to do testing. Now we'll do another cycle. So it's like you just keep going with that. Um, but yes, your and my mission is just for women to know and how they can flow with it rather than force it.
Hmm. How do you feel that unresolved emotions or stored experiences, show up in the body from an Ayurvedic perspective, or for someone who has gone to do so many rounds of IVF and they still haven't been successful? What is that telling them that they don't know, or what can they sort of embody to move forward with?
Oh, wow. So what's the question again?
One, everybody on a fertility journey is experiencing a lot of unresolved emotions typically,
Yep.
and those can be impacting them. And then there's also the forcing, the doing, and how is this taking a toll and
I
impacting
got it.
them?
Okay.
And what's the best path forward? Because
Yeah.
most times they're not consciously aware of how this is impacting them internally.
Absolutely. I think we already know and in the world that we don't do enough trauma work. And
Hmm.
fertility itself is a traumatic place to be in, to constantly be in that fear that you're going to lose this, you're going to lose this, you're going to lose this. And what happens is if we are not resolving that trauma, even when women do become parents, or even when they do have children, they make their life really difficult. Even they make life difficult for kids also because they're so scared, and if after 10 cycles, just imagine all you have is one child, you're going to be so scared for that kid. And I know that it does, we know that fertility itself is a PTSD kind of situation because there is so much unresolved emotion. And we also know that women, nobody listens to women's bodies and pain anyhow, so if they're going through miscarriages, it's like, oh yeah, it happened, okay, let's do another IVF cycle. So they didn't even get chance to actually go through it, to feel it, to release it.
Hmm.
So absolutely, Ayurveda, as you know, Ayurveda talks about it is about connecting within yourself. And if you are connecting within yourself, you will know whether it is hurting you or not. If you're
Hmm.
in that hurtful space where something didn't work out, and you feel really sad about it, you need to let that flow through you, you know? And it
Yes.
is not because otherwise women are just suppressing it. It's like, okay, I don't have time to deal with this because I have next cycle planned,
Yes. There's no
right?
time and space to integrate.
Yeah. And that's why they just keep doing it because there is money involved, there are schedules involved from work, they have taken time off, so all of that. But we got to do more healing work. We got to do more trauma release work with miscarriages, with failed IVF cycles. We should do trauma work with that. When a IVF cycle fails, it is not just an IVF cycle for someone. It is almost like
No.
losing a child, that you lost that opportunity. And it is a huge blow to women and their confidence in that sense, right? So, absolutely. And Ayurveda says that we know this from modern perspective, but all natural healing sciences say that you got to heal. If you are feeling hurt, if you feel sad, you got to heal that. At least do something about that healing.
Hmm. Yeah. I've seen many times people being rushed, whether it's from an IVF cycle or whether it's from an IUI or multiple IUIs that haven't worked. And it's like,
Yeah,
okay, let us know when you're ready. And it's like, hold on a minute, pause. Let's
yeah.
process this. Let's prepare this person so that when they go, they feel equipped and ready and capable and have the capacity for whatever the outcome is, because a lot of these women do not have the capacity, their nervous system doesn't have the capacity to hold
Mhm.
all of it.
It is it, and there are so many decisions involved. Even if you miss one appointment, there are so many decisions involved. It could, I mean, so many things are there, after which you were supposed to do that session, and then you didn't do that session. And there is so much healing that is required, which is why I'm saying that even when those women who were waiting, or those couples who were waiting, have children, they still should do the healing work. They still should do trauma work, because it shows up. It shows up in other ways, how it will show up in your life and in your health if you don't resolve it.
Absolutely. And for them to know that what they do for themselves, they're also doing for their baby, and that it's going to positively impact the child, the health, the epigenetics that this child is going to have. I mean, you're influencing so much, and to take that time and that care is not selfish. It's the best thing that you can do for yourself and your baby.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, 100%.
I feel like you have a lot to say too about the men and them being in the equation. And would you love to elaborate on that? Because often we are just looking at the women and helping the women and only treating the women. And the male may go for the sperm analysis, and then that may be all that is required or that they do on their part. So I would love you to bring voice to that.
100%. I think we need another podcast for that. Men's role in fertility and what men are not doing. And I think overall, from medical perspective, we are really ignoring men's health. Um, Hardly any man prepares anything. At best, they are taking maybe some multivitamin, And what I am seeing day in, day out, I've got some US patients right now, and I looked at their reports. One patient who has got two failed IVF cycles, the other one is they're trying naturally. And the one who has got two, no, not two, five failed IVF cycles, I think, four or five failed IVF cycles. And I looked at this husband's sperm report, only motility checked. No morphology checked, no DNA fragmentation checked. There are no extensive tests that they're doing. Nobody ever suggested that he needs to prep himself, that he should do something more. And even the other person who they're trying naturally, and when then I explained that I need to know morphology numbers, so get there another test done. And one of them said, I know that my husband's not going to get this tested, so I'm fine. I actually want you to send us men's fertility herbs as well, because I will slip those capsules into his capsule box and he will take it, because otherwise he's not going to even take the medicine. He's not going to even go for the test. It is mind boggling to me, seriously, that I can shout about it. It is so sad that men, one, that they are not doing anything, 90% of them, and even the ones that are aware a little bit, being told that 4% morphology is fine, or even 5 or even 10% morphology is nothing out of overall morphology that we need. 10% morphology is still very low morphology. And that's why we keep seeing failed IVF cycle after IVF cycle. We keep seeing miscarriages, implantation issues, and women are doing test after test after test after test. And the man has not even been told anything. And some men who are very, equally involved, and they say, but doctor are saying this. I said, yes, I know. All the doctors and gynecologists and IVF clinics, nobody's going to tell you that you need to prepare, but you do. So yeah, I guess um, my one-liner is that we need to do so much for men to come on board, and men should prepare equally all the time, consistently until they both are pregnant. And this is a big factor which is keeping women even stuck in this loop of IVF, is because men are not even tested.
Do you think it would be far better and far quicker if both were on board and it was looked at in the way that you look at it from the get-go?
100%. 100%.
Mhm.
I think the biggest thing that is bringing women down is the fact that sperm analysis numbers are being told that this is fine, which it isn't. And because it is told it is fine, nobody's doing anything about it. And man is like, my numbers are fine. I don't need to do anything. And
Right.
they are overall losing it. And I feel that even women after 40, 45, 46 will conceive really fast or much faster if we have sperm, if we prep the sperm. If we prep the man and we do it for both of them at the same time, we're going to see even better results with what we are seeing already. We are seeing a surge of women over 40 conceiving, but they can conceive even more, you know. But it is the sperm issue which is bringing the whole thing down.
Wow. Well, thank you for enlightening us on that, Ashish. I appreciate it because also so many women feel like they are doing everything and perhaps they are doing everything that they can possibly do, but maybe their partner, their husband needs to equally get on board as a partner as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think, and now I say always to my patients that, okay, nobody is going to tell you this, but this is how it is. So these patients that I'm just explaining recently had consultation and they said, thank you for explaining it in so much detail because
Mm-hmm.
nobody has ever told this to us. You know,
Mm-hmm.
can you imagine spending thousands, and in the US and Canada, it's much bigger amount that you're spending, some of them hundreds and thousands of pounds, where nobody explained to you this whole scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it is almost like gaslighting women, and women are thinking, where am I going wrong? Because I am doing everything under the sun, and we are still
Mm-hmm.
not getting the result. And we need to do more about men's health. We need to bring more for, and we also know that men's sperm health is way down than what it used to be already anyway. So we need to actually bring it much higher. So actually we need to prep men more than women because women already know their, because women are more clued up with their period and everything. They already are the first ones to get tested. And men should go and yeah, get themselves checked. Seriously, I get so angry about this because it's like women are going to clinics and just opening their legs to whoever and not. And then there are men who are just like, oh, I feel shy, I feel this, and I'm like, what the heck? Seriously, man, do you want this baby or not?
Mm-hmm.
But that's the scenario 90% of the time. So yeah, absolutely. We need to raise our boys better.
I feel like we have to have a part two. Stay tuned, everybody.
Yes, yes.
I would love for you to know your perspective of what sacred fertility flow in the deepest sense, from your perspective and your wisdom, what that means to you, Ashish.
Um, right. So I feel, you know, um, so spirituality is part of my work. It is not separate. For
Yes.
me, there is only one way of being. So my ego, my work, my everything that I do is a culmination, it's a fruition of my spirit, how it is. And for me to have a child, which is why I was talking to you about spiritual foundation, when we didn't have kids for 10 years, I never ever had a doubt. If it is part of my journey, it is going to show up. If it is not part
Mhm.
of my journey, then we're going to do something else, right? So you need that kind of alignment, you need that kind of flow, that you are connected with whoever you believe in. And even if you're atheist, still you believe in something. So you need that sacred connection within yourself first, and also for fertility, you also need that connection with your partner as well, which I feel there is a lot of disconnection. You know, I also feel that a lot of women go for IVF because they cannot be bothered with the man whom they are married to. As we know, so many people in countries like India, Asia, Pakistan, they have arranged marriages. They are not really is a match, or they don't have the compatibility. And because men are not listening, they can't be bothered to ask the man. They are like, okay, let's do IVF because it's going to be easier for me, right? So they have that disconnection as well to the partners. And then they have their own disconnection, which is when the fear creeps in, right? If you have your own very solid sacred foundation, there is no fear. It's like, okay, if this is my path, this is my path. This is how I'm going to show up for it, right? So it is absolutely for us to whatever sacred means for us. For every individual, it means different, religiously, whatever it means to you. If you follow any particular religion, any god, how do you connect to them and let that energy flow through you, so that you can relax, so that you can let it go, so that you can let it um, become or manifest through you, rather than forcing for it to manifest. And we cannot force anything, you know? That I've learned very early on, even when I was a kid. I'm like, you cannot force anyone. You can only allow things to come into manifestation, when the time is right.
Mhm.
So 100% people need to do little more inner work, contemplation, religious work perhaps, or spiritual work perhaps, so that they can connect within themselves, and they can allow themselves to let it, come through them. And it doesn't become such a nerve-wracking journey where there is trauma after trauma.
Mhm.
So 100% they got to look into that.
I love that. It was beautiful. I have goosebumps yet again. So I would love to know, obviously, you believe that motherhood is more than biological. You believe in something far greater and to connect to that. And
100%.
and things will flow for you, which you have seen, which I have seen and witnessed in my own life as well, and that of others. And so I would love for you to share any ways people can reach out with you, how they can connect with you, and any offerings you currently have, anything that they can access and tap into to help themselves on their journey.
Absolutely. I think you are going to share my details as well. Ashish Veda, that is on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and then, of course, ashishveda.uk is the website, so they can connect via that. But I'm fairly easily can be seen online because I've been doing this long time, and I'm quite good on social media, so they can see that on social media. Lots of videos that I share and a lot of information. There are always offers in place, so they can go through my channels and see what offer I'm doing currently. Like right now, I'm promoting a couple of free guides as well, and the latest one is 10 signs to know that you don't need IVF yet, right? Because so many people don't know. They have been told and they think that they need IVF, but have you looked into these steps? Have you done those steps? So, yeah, they can get some free items that we were promoting. We were promoting egg quality guide, for example, as honoring my twin's birthday this month. So we were doing
Oh.
that, and things like that. But there are always offers in place, and I always give more time and energy to my patients, right? Because I don't want them to get more lost than they already are. So I always give more time. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing all of your wisdom today. Thank you for being such a beautiful light in my life. I know that I have reached out to Ashish before, and she has always been there. And so, thank you so much for sharing your time, your energy, and your wisdom with us today. It has been an absolute pleasure. Pleasure.
Thank you so much, Ashley, for having me and also for this message to go out wide and far. What you're doing, and thank you for putting all this energy into bringing this podcast out because it is a lot of energy involved. And I know this because I do this similar things. So thank you for doing that as well. And more women need to hear this message also
Yes.
because they are very alone in this journey.
Yes, absolutely. The light in me honors the light in all of you, and thank you for listening. Take care, everyone.